This is LaserBone, and welcome to our very first No BS review. Today we're going to be reviewing Biomutant and telling you guys if you should buy this, skip this, or just throw it into the trash. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So since this is a No BS review, this game gets an 8 out of 10. That way you guys already know what the game score is going to be. If you want to find out how we came to that conclusion, well, stay tuned to the video. I'm going to tell you everything about Biomutant. The first time I actually saw Biomutant, guys, this is the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, oh, look how cute. A little red panda with some guns and a sword killing a bunch of NPCs. And then I actually got a chance to play the game because I think a lot of people come to the conclusion when they see gameplay of the game or when they see the game, they think, oh man, I could probably give this to my son, I could give this to my nephew, and this game might not be so enjoyable for an adult or a teenager because it might be something that's going to be a little bit too childish. But guys, after playing the game for over 50 hours, I gotta tell you, this game has a lot of potential. And it definitely might be one of the best games that releases in 2021. Now, what exactly has the game done right? What exactly has the game done wrong? Today, we're going to be talking about all that. And we are going to start off with the negative because I feel like when you guys play the game, this might be the thing that makes you guys stop playing the game when it starts. So when the game starts, it might become a little bit boring because there is a lot of dialogue. And the reason the game does this is because they want to teach you everything that the game is able to do, or everything you're able to do within the game. It's actually very helpful because there is a ton of things to do in the game, like weapon crafting, there's armor crafting, there's upgrading weapons, upgrading armor, there's finding loot, there's finding mounts, and so on and so on. There is a ton of things to actually do when it comes to the game. Not only that, but they also want to introduce you to the lore so you can understand what the tribes are all about, so you can understand your upbringing. So there is a ton of information that the game throws at you at the beginning. And I think a lot of players might feel a little bit drawn back when it comes to the game because there is an extensive dialogue that goes over and over. I think it's almost too much dialogue. If they could cut down the dialogue, I think a lot of people would probably enjoy the game at the start, because after you get rid of all the dialogue, which is kind of like the very first hour or hour and a half of the game, then when you actually start playing the game and you're kind of more freely able to roam around the world and explore the world, that is when the game becomes really interesting. Now, since this is a no BS review, that's why I wanted to start off with the negative. Now, the positive things about this game, guys, there is a ton of positives of the game. That's why we got an 8 out of 10. Now, one of the biggest things I got to say out of this game that does a lot of things right that other games don't do, this actually makes you want to go explore the world. Usually when you play games, right, when you're trying to just do a review or trying to get content done, what basically any reviewer or any content creator does is rush through the story so you could get to the end part, and then you could do videos and content on that, on the game, and do a good review. The good thing about this game is, I got to tell you, out of the majority of the games that I played for a while, this is by far one of the first games that actually makes me go out of my way of just doing the story and kind of going to check out exactly what's happening in another place. Because what the game does really good is when you're playing the game and you're just trying to complete the story, there's this little shiny thing that appears on the left-hand side of your eye, or the right-hand side of your eye, and you're like, I kind of want to go investigate and see what that's all about. And the game does that right. A lot of games don't do this right. A lot of times you just don't even want to go and explore or check out what the world has to offer. This game actually does this. Now, I know what you guys are asking. Laser, what does this game feel like? What does it compare to? Should I buy it? Will this game interest me if I play other games? I'm going to give you 3 games that this game actually kind of replicates, and is the best way to compare this game. First and foremost, the world and the game in general, it reminds me a lot of Breath of the Wild. And that's actually a really good thing because I know a lot of people enjoy Breath of the Wild. Very nice overlay when it comes to the game. In addition to that, when it comes to the loot, it actually reminds me of Borderlands. There is a ton of loot. A lot of loot. There is a ton of loot. Did I say ton? Can I say it again? There's a ton of loot. There's a lots and lots of loot in this game. Not only that, but you're also able to craft this loot. And that's where I'm going to bring in the third game, which is Fallout. If you enjoy Borderlands, if you enjoy Fallout, and if you like Breath of the Wild, then this is the game for you. You are going to love this game. Now, theoretically speaking, if you were to play this game just by doing the linear story and just skipping any side quests, not doing anything, just free roaming, it's going to take you between 10 to 15 hours, depending on how effective you are as a gamer. That sounds like a very little bit amount of hours, but after playing the game for more than 50 hours, I can tell you guys that you're probably going to be spending between 30 to 40 hours, maybe even 100 hours exploring the world if you want to cover all the side quests, if you want to go look for weapons, if you want to look for mods to enhance that, if you want to play dark, if you want to play light, because the game gives you that option, whether you want to go to the dark side or you want to go to the light side. And the advantage is that if you go to the dark side, you get access to certain perks. And if you go to the light side, you actually get access to certain perks. So you can mix and match the way you want to play. The game allows you to pick a total of 5 classes. One is an additional class, would be 6 classes if you actually get the pre-order bonus, which I highly recommend you do, because if you like melee classes, that is definitely the way to go. It also gives you different playstyles if you want to play melee, if you want to play, from a farther distance, if you want to go out full out swords, if you just want to go dual wielding weapons. The game has every option for any other playstyle. Like if you want to play like a master magician and want to have all this cool abilities in your hands and at your disposal, which is what I went with, then the game offers that option for you guys. So there is a ton of different replayability and also a ton of different ways to actually approach the game. Whether you want to run an assault rifle, where you want to run just a hand cannon, when you want to run a pistol, whether you just want to go with a sword. So there is a ton of different ways to play the game, which is something I like. They're not forcing you to play the game a certain way. You actually get to make that choice of the way you want to play. Another thing that I want to give the game big credit for is that they do not like make you stick to a specific class or a specific type of look. You're actually later along the game, you're actually able to change that. So that's actually really good. So you don't have to be like, man, I made a really bad decision in the way I created this character. Let me go back and restart the game again. You don't have to do that. As long as you get a little bit further in the game, you will be able to change the aspect of the way your character looks, and also change your class and your abilities, which is actually really, really awesome. Another thing that the game does really good is the fact the way they let you move throughout the levels. You have multiple ways of actually exploring the world. You can just walk, run. You could mount a horse. You could mount a bunch of different animals that are within the world. You could actually take a glider, and you could even hop on a a robot or a mech, and you could customize this mech. Or if you were in the water, you could get like on your little motor ski and you head on over that. You could customize that. So there's a ton of different ways to actually maneuvering around the map, making it very fun and very dynamic. One thing I do got to give them credit for is the boss fights are actually very enjoyable. They are played very different. They're not all the same. So it's like when you fight a specific boss, it's not going to be the same thing when you fight the other boss. It's going to have a little bit of changes, little different mechanics, which makes the game really enjoyable and really fun. It's not just like button mashing. You actually have to strategize, which makes the game very enjoyable. One knock that I have to give on the game, I think right now we live in an era where you kind of have to, for these type of games, some sort of multiplayer aspect would have been really good to have in this game. I think that is one of the biggest kind of like, I would say, letdowns of the game. I think multiplayer should have played a huge viable role when it came to the game. In addition to that, guys, another knock that I have to give for the game is the introduction of the narrative, which I said at the beginning of the video. It is just way too long. It would have been really nice if they could cut down on that and just kind of giving you like everything really fast where you could kind of absorb it and then just let you free roam and, just enjoy the world of Biomutant. Now, when it comes to combat, because I know some of you guys are wondering, Laser, how does the combat feel like? Does it feel smooth? Does it feel really good? It's not like your Arkham Knight type of combat, but it is not bad combat. I'm going to say, like, if I had to give it like a rating on how good the combat is and how bad it is, I'm going to say it's kind of right down in the middle. It's not getting stuck when you're doing certain, certain melee activities or when you're shooting, but it doesn't feel as smooth as butter. So I'm going to leave it in the middle. I think that all this could probably get a little bit polished when you guys go ahead and we get an update for the game. And I think that would be really awesome. Overall, in general, guys, that is my no BS review for Biomutant. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, do me the huge favor, guys, drop a comment, drop a like. If you have any questions regarding Biomutant, if you're still on the fence, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be more than happy to answer that for you guys. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video.